Well, the director of the Eurasian Democracy Initiative, an international organisation dedicated to the promotion of democracy and human rights in post-communist transitional societies, joins us now. Mr. Peter Zalmayev, thanks for your time. Can I start by asking you, this intense increase in the offensive by Russia over the weekend, I mean, what do you make of that? Is this the beginning of, a summer offensive as it's being dubbed by Russia?
Well, I don't think the two are necessarily connected. There's clearly, to my knowledge, I haven't seen many military targets, during these bombardments. These are, as always, meant to inflict as much misery as possible on the civilian population in order to bring the Ukrainians to their knees. They don't necessarily pursue military aims. I think the military offensive is a separate thing. We're already seeing signs of it in the Sumy region, etc. But Vladimir Putin, I think, as well as sending the signal that Russia is just as fixated on Ukraine. He's doing it not only addressing the Ukrainians, but also, I think, sending it to Ukraine's European allies. No amount of peacemaking on the part of Donald Trump will sway Putin and will make him change his mind that he wants to control all of Ukraine.
So will he just keep going then, as long as it takes? What kind of, manpower and resources does Russia have to sustain this kind of war?
Well, by all indications, Russia's economy has had, better days. But once again, whatever misery the current economic situation inflicts on the ordinary Russians, Vladimir Putin thinks that with his, dose of propaganda, his, carrot and stick that he uses with the Russians, his repression methods are enough to overcome any, unhappiness by the Russians, whether they decide to rise up or there's any sort of protest around the country. Putin feels confident that he can quell whatever uprising that may arise, and we're not seeing any signs of that. On the other hand, the European allies of Ukraine continue to prevaricate. They're continuously looking for a formula of how best to Ukraine, while Ukraine is bleeding, and Donald Trump is simply missing in action. I mean, I guess that one can feel encouraged that finally, after days of silence, Donald Trump is commenting on these extremely cruel bombardments that we've undergone for the past 3 days. But once again, he's only talking about a possibility of sanctions. Vladimir Putin does not feel there's a credible threat coming from Washington, alas.
And so then where does this leave Ukraine?
It leaves Ukraine. I mean, I'm afraid increasingly one with Vladimir Putin. I mean, even if Europe keeps going through motions that we will, stay with our ally, the Ukrainians. The matter of fact is, Ukraine is running out of ammunitions. We're running out of our air defense systems. Europe should better come up with a plan soon how to fill the gap from America's decision to just simply walk away. There's a formula being discussed right now. Europe will pay for America's ammunition. And once again, the golden solution here is to use Russia's frozen $300 billion US dollars sitting in European banks to help achieve that.
Okay, but you feel that is unlikely from the US point of view?
I believe that it's very much in accord with Donald Trump's, policy, that America's interests first. Well, if you don't want to give anything away to anyone, even in Ukraine, this would put, Donald Trump up against the wall. I mean, okay, well, let's see if he'll be willing to sell the weapons. If he doesn't, then he's clearly acting in the interest of Vladimir Putin. So I think this is a workable solution. But once again, I think Europeans should come up with that decision, should decide quickly, because Ukraine does not have much time to wait.
Mr. Peter Zalmayev of the Eurasian Democracy Initiative, thank you so much for your time.
Yeah.